Plaintiff Robert Webster was married to the defendant, and he says she's been taking advantage of him since 1966. Robert claims when he returned from the Vietnam War, he discovered the defendant was pregnant with another man's baby, and he's suing her today for money he paid towards their son's funeral expenses. Defendant Mary Davis says she and Robert have been divorced for 38 years, and she has no idea why he's still holding a grudge. Mary claims she left Robert because he cheated on her with at least 20 different women that she knows of, and she can't believe he's suing her for expenses for their son's funeral.
Tell me what happened.
My wife has been taking advantage of me ever since 1966. In 1966, I came back from Vietnam.
Go ahead.
While I was in the hospital, they didn't visit, she didn't visit or nothing. I took a cab and went home. When I went back, my wife took sick. I took her to the hospital. While in the hospital, the doctor came out and said, I'm sorry for your loss. I looked at him and said, loss for what? He said, your wife miscarried. I said, I just spent 13 months in Vietnam. It couldn't be.
Oh my
but
God.
I forgave that. We moved to Denver, Colorado. One day I came home, she was gone, the kids were gone, and that was it.
Did you ever find out why?
Never found out why. I had called the mother, and I asked the mother where was she.
You going to ask her today, 40 years later? Or?
He don't want to know.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Why don't you give me some background on it? He blames everything on you.
Yeah, that sounds sad, doesn't it?
Go ahead, tell me.
Well, since he opened up that can of worms, we've been divorced first for 38 years.
Right.
He's still carrying a grudge. I have no idea why. And he knows why I left. He knows that I was leaving because I had taken so much off of him, drinking and running women, all of our married life, even when I was pregnant. I left him in October. That was 1970, and I divorced him the next year. I can probably name 20 women that I know he's been with since we've been married. He's been married 3 times since our divorce. I have no idea why he's still hopping on this. The son that we buried would have been 2 years on the 13th of this month. The oldest son died this month, 2 days ago on the 28th.
What was the cause of death, Faye?
The oldest one died of cancer, colon cancer.
How old was he?
He was 48. The youngest one died of a heart attack, and he was 48. And this is not the month that he needs to take me to court because we buried our son 2 years ago, and he's been angry. And it's amazing the way people want to tell you things, but they never want to tell the truth about themselves. And there was a reason, and he knows what the reason is. Because when I told him in October, when I left, I think it was the 5th, he left $200 and an Exxon credit card on the table for me to leave with. Now, he said he didn't know I was leaving. That's not the truth.
You want to tell me anything about the loss of your sons?
The loss of my son, I regret. Before my first son died, because of his illness, I gave him one of my cars. It was a Buick Riviera. Okay. I gave his wife a freezer, so forth and so on, to make things comfortable for her. I used to travel from Florida to Durham, North Carolina, to see my son.
Sorry for both of you. What's the lawsuit about today, the loans?
The lawsuit about the loan is, my first son, I paid the full funeral and burial.
Still alive.
I never asked. The second son, we were there. She says that she would pay $3,400 of it, and I'll pay the $3,000. I put up my credit card for the $3,000. When she put up her credit card, it was declined. I told her I would put the $3,400 on my credit card with a promissory note that I will be repaid. It was between Miss Davis and my daughter-in-law, Beverly Webster.
What do you mean between them?
If one didn't pay, the other would pay.
Okay, so his wife agreed to repay you how much?
$3,400.
Okay.
That Mary would put up the money for her.
She would co-sign or she would put up the money for
She would co-sign.
Okay. And she co-signed?
Yes.
You have the document? Ma'am, you want to tell me about any of this?
First, Judge, I have a letter from my daughter-in-law, Dorothy Webster, with the charges for my son's funeral that he said he paid the whole amount for. With the second one, the note reads, I, Beverly Webster, she was the one that asked him for the loan. I had no idea they didn't have any insurance. She thought he was insured through the VA because he was 100% disabled. She asked her father-in-law if he would lend her the balance, which was $3,400. She would pay him $100 a month. We had already argued in the funeral home. I just saw my son for the first time since he died. And I was in no condition to argue with him anymore. He argued about his car. He wanted the car.
Where were you all?
In the funeral director's office.
Whose car?
Rory, I bought my son a 2006 Isuzu, maybe 6-7 months before he passed. He wanted me to give him the car because it was in my name.
In the funeral director's office? While you all are making arrangements for the burial?
Yes, when he asked me, he said, Robert, stop lying. He said, I can take the car off your hands. I'll pay cash for it if you turn the deed over when you get it. And I said, they're paying the note. When he just kept picking at me, I got up and walked out 2 or 3 times, and I didn't want to argue with him. So after Beverly signed the promissory note, then he decided, get my wife, my ex-wife, to sign it too. So if I can't find her, I'll sue her. My daughter-in-law, when I told her that I had received the court order to go to court in Durham, she told me that Robert told her at the funeral home, don't pay me for 3 months because I want to get her.
Okay, but let's get to you signing it.
So I signed behind her, but it doesn't say that I, Beverly Webster and Mary Webster, agreed to pay.
Yeah, when you
but I signed it.
Sir, you tell me the circumstance.
There was no argument about any car. My son's car. There wasn't anything about anything. I did not say to my daughter-in-law, don't pay me for 3 months.
Okay, how about the co-signature?
I have a letter from her stating that.
What were the circumstances surrounding that?
She was there. She said that if Beverly doesn't take care of it, I will.
I didn't say that. Stop lying, Robert.
That's why you're.
You know what?
You did sign it though, man.
That's why
I signed it, and if I have to pay him, I will. If you say I have to pay him, but not because he says so, because I know that he doesn't need $3,000 from me or anybody else. He's just doing it for spite, to be mean. And I'm just tired of arguing with him. I want closure from this marriage today.
I don't know how she can.
Sir, did you go after the primary borrower?
No, he told me he couldn't find her. She hasn't moved, Judge.
I've been calling my daughter-in-law. She sent me
she should be the responsible party. And what concerns me is that you did this in the funeral director's office.
No, sir.
I mean, that's almost like duress.
The director is the one that wrote this note for her to sign.
I mean, this woman doesn't have the mental capacity, I believe, to enter into a contract like this.
That's a sorry dad,
It was not like that, sir.
He's got 3 houses, 3 cars, a boat, a mobile home. He does not need that $3,000.
I do not own a boat. I do not own a motorhome. I have a van.
Well, you sold them, but you just built 3 brand new houses from the ground up.
My finances has nothing to do with this.
Well, why are you after me? Do I look like I have it? I just had surgery, and you know that too.
Your witness want to speak?
That's my daughter.
State your name.
My name is Colleen Parks.
What do you want to tell me today?
I'm just really lost for words about all this. It really didn't have to come this far. It could have been handled a lot differently.
Yeah, I agree. Sir, there's a few ways of invalidating a contract. Duress, lack of mental capacity. She probably would have signed anything you put in her face.
That was all.
That day. She would have signed her life away had you said so.
Prior to going,
yes, sir.
Prior to going to the office, everything was signed for. They knew exactly what they wanted. I had nothing to do with it. The only part I had was.
So
when
you
we-
admitted that you all did it in the
Yes,
office. Sir, you
in
must
the
go
office.
after, sir, that's enough.
Lie.
Go after your daughter-in-law. She's the primary borrower because I'm going to conclude that she signed this under duress and or without proper mental capacity, and I'm not going to enforce it against her. Your claim is dismissed against her. Have
All
a
right,
good day.
thank you.
Good, Mr. Hakeem.
Thank you.
My granddaughter told me that I don't like her. And I said, why? What would you say? Grandma says that you don't like me because I'm fat.
He's still lying. And no, he doesn't like fat people. He said that many, many, many times.
I said,
I don't know. That's
I don't date.
what's the
Heavy.
difference? You said you don't like him. Stop lying, Robert.
You're saying I
you
don't.
know what?
You're saying I don't like my
Things
daughter?
happen. Do you? When's the last time you talked to her?
When she came to my house.
When she came to your house 2 years ago?
No.